because he knows it doesn't save any money, it's going to cost millions. This is the first Prime Minister in history to propose a bill to save money who ended up with a bill which costs money.
Keir Starmer furious as Kemi Badenoch brings up what Katie Hopkins said in Parliament. You're not going to believe what just happened in Parliament. Tensions were already running high, but what unfolded next had everyone from backbenchers to journalists holding their breath. Because when Kemi Badenoch stood up and mentioned something Katie Hopkins had said, Keir Starmer's entire tone changed. It wasn't just frustration. It was fury visible, undeniable, and caught on camera for the world to see. Now, let's break this down carefully, because this wasn't some offhand comment. This was a moment that's already dominating the headlines and sparking a much bigger debate about politics, speech, and who gets to call out hypocrisy inside the Commons. Earlier this week, during a heated exchange in Parliament, Kemi Badenoch, known for her sharp tongue and no-nonsense approach, took direct aim at the Labour benches. She brought up a remark made by commentator Katie Hopkins, one that had been circulating online for days. The moment she said it, the atmosphere changed. You could almost feel the tension thicken in the air. Keir Starmer's expression tightened, his body language stiffened. He leaned forward, ready to respond. And when he did, it wasn't measured. It was angry. Starmer accused Badenoch of dragging Parliament into the gutter, calling her reference to Hopkins beneath the dignity of the House. But Badenoch didn't back down. She shot back, saying that it was hypocrisy at its finest, that Starmer had no problem quoting controversial figures when it suited his agenda, but suddenly found moral outrage when the tables turned. The chamber erupted. Some MPs laughed, others gasped, and a few shouted across the benches. And in the middle of it all, the Speaker struggled to restore order. Now, if you're wondering what Katie Hopkins said that caused such a stir, it wasn't the first time her names ignited headlines. She had made a comment questioning Starmer's credibility on leadership, suggesting that he says one thing in Parliament and another behind closed doors. A bold statement, sure, but not something entirely new. What shocked people wasn't just what Badenoch repeated, it was where she said it, inside Parliament, on the official record. And that's where the political storm began. Because when something enters Hansard, the official record of parliamentary proceedings, it's there forever. It becomes part of history. So for Badenoch to invoke Katie Hopkins' name in that context was a strategic move. It forced the issue into the national conversation. Within hours, clips of the exchange flooded social media. On X, formerly Twitter, one user wrote, "Kemi just said what half the country's been thinking, and Starmer couldn't handle it." Another replied, "This is Parliament, not talk radio." Badenoch crossed a line. Even mainstream political reporters couldn't look away. Sky's political editor called it one of the most confrontational exchanges in months, while The Guardian described it as a calculated provocation that landed exactly where it was aimed, at the heart of Labour's image of control. But the reactions outside Westminster were even more divided. Some praised Badenoch for her fearlessness, arguing that she brought authenticity to an increasingly scripted political space. Others accused her of grandstanding and using culture war tactics to score points. Let's be real, this moment wasn't just about a quote. It was about power. Because every time someone challenges Keir Starmer publicly, especially in a way that questions his composure, it chips away at that carefully built image of calm authority. And Badenoch knows it. She's a rising star in the Conservative Party, one who's been gaining traction among younger voters for her unapologetic tone and sharp wit. She often positions herself as the voice of plain-speaking conservatism, the one who says what others won't. So when she brought up Hopkins' comment, it wasn't random. It was a move designed to test Starmer's nerves, and it worked. Behind the scenes, insiders say the Labour leader was visibly irritated even after leaving the chamber. According to one aide quoted by a Westminster reporter, he didn't appreciate the ambush, especially being caught off guard in that way. Meanwhile, Conservative MPs were reportedly buzzing afterward, saying Badenoch stole the spotlight and that the exchange showed Labour's thin skin. Even opposition MPs privately admitted the reaction looked unhelpful for Starmer. But here's what's interesting: this isn't the first time Starmer's temper has surfaced in Parliament. Just last month, during a fiery debate on immigration policy, he clashed with Lee Anderson in a similarly tense exchange. And while his composure usually holds, every now and then, These flashes of anger show the pressure he's under. The public image of Starmer as the steady hand, calm, rational, lawyerly is one of his biggest political assets. But it's also his weakness when challenged emotionally. And that's exactly what happened here. The aftermath. Badenoch's supporters are calling it one of her best moments yet. Labour MPs are calling it cheap theatre. And the rest of the country, well, they're watching the clips on TikTok and YouTube, forming their own opinions. This isn't just about who won the exchange. It's about who controlled the narrative afterward. And right now, it's Kemi Badenoch's name trending, not Keir Starmer's. So what happens next? Will Labour try to downplay the moment, or will they hit back, maybe even accuse Badenoch of spreading fringe rhetoric? And will this exchange push Starmer to be more assertive, or will it expose deeper cracks in his composure? One thing's for sure, the political stage just got a lot more unpredictable. Because when moments like this go viral, when a single line in Parliament can dominate headlines, it reminds us that politics today isn't just about policies. It's about performance. And on that stage, every reaction counts. Whether you agree with Badenoch or not, she managed to do something rare. She made the most powerful man in Parliament lose control for a moment. And that, in politics, can change everything. Because sometimes, it's not the policy papers or press releases that define a leader, it's the moments they didn't plan for. And this was one of those moments.